Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, we continue with more NXT with week 2 of Spring Breakin. Now, as you know, we have a brand new NXT champion. But, however, we have a lot of things that are taking place. We have the NXT tag team titles defended. Nathan Frazier and Axiom defended against the AOP. The real question is, can they hold on to these belts, or the belts will be hold on for the short range? So that's going to be a very interesting matter. Now we also have other matches taking place we definitely going to be looking into as well. But first things first, we're also going to be reviewing, of course, Japanese promotion Ganbare Pro with some very interesting matches, but the main event being the Ganbare Spirit, the Ganbare Spirit World Openweight title is defended. So that's going to be a very interesting matchup. Then we move on, of course, with some news updates that give you guys updates what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, and interesting developments. But majority of our developments it's coming from, of course, the newly launched promotion by Roxy Ogawa, MARIGOLD, and we'll get to that as well. So let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay right here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do the discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. We also do real timing news updates to keep you guys updated if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP for all of you. We also do the Nagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have set aside, I believe it's time to get the show on the road, and let's begin with our very first review, Ganbare Pro. Okay, Ganbare Pro. It's been a while since I did one of these reviews, but they're a lot of fun to watch. Now, of course, as you all know, Ganbare Pro are now under a new management. Some things have changed a little bit. One thing that was interesting when they opened up the show, they did a roster call on the entire roster of Ganbare Pro. Now, these are wrestlers who are normally part of the promotion, such as, of course, Ken Oka, who's the founder, Yuna Manaze, Arikaze, Yuri, a few others. So basically, it's very interesting to see that. So I have nothing against that, but it's a very interesting direction where they're going now. So we'll see how things will go for them now. Now, our very first match, we have a very interesting tag match. We have Mizuki Wadaze teaming up with Rekka. They take on Takashi Okada and Tyson Maeguchi. Now, I wasn't too sure what about this match because like I said, I haven't been watching some of their material for a while. But I have noticed certain changes with Wadaze. He's starting to come out kind of like what Okada and what's his name, Nakajima, come out wearing kind of like similar to what Antonio Inoki used to wear. I thought, or like some of the wrestlers who are veterans. I don't know why they're doing that now. I mean, Takas Wadaze, he's a fantastic wrestler, but of course, it was him who picked up the win. He was very impressive as always when he applied the Venetian onto Okada, and just like that, they picked up the win. Now, our next match is a singles match. We have Shinichiro Tominaga taking on Takuya Wada. Now, on a note here, you may have heard recently talked about this. There's this Yoshi wrestler named Bani Oikawa. Originally, she was from the promotion Ice Ribbon, but she went on a hiatus for a while, and then she came back, making appearances in Ganbare Yoshi. However, her initial plan that she wants to wrestle in Ganbare Pro, saying that she owed a lot to someone who is in Ganbare Pro. I don't know who that person is. I don't know that they ever mentioned. But she served as a referee here. I think this is more like a trial for her to see if she can be under pressure despite that she's in the same ring as the men. I mean, I'm not a wrestler myself, just to make that perfectly clear. I don't know what's it like for a woman who has to step in the ring, but I know that when it comes to a man and a woman being in the same ring, fighting each other, there has to be a mutual trust or try to handle it if they can't handle it. So, however, I have to say she handled it pretty well, but I like how she was throwing a little bit of the interaction with the wrestlers. There was a moment where you saw Owada almost hit her, but he stopped. There was like a moment that looks more like a intimate moment. I don't know. I was about to sing the Lion King song with Simba and Nala when that happened, but I thought it was great. And then of course it happened with Tominaga, but it backfired. She just swung him away. I'm like, okay, does she like Wada? That's one of the things I ask. But however, Wada's pissed because he lost the match and he blamed Banny for this. And it's not her fault, I have to say. She was just doing her job as a ref. You know, I don't know what Wada was thinking, but we'll see. Now, our next match, we have a six-person intergender tag match. We have Minoru Fujita, Harukaze, and of course, everyone's favorite eel, Unagi Sayaka. She takes on Psycho. Originally, it was supposed to be Munetatsu Nakamura, but however, he's out of action for a while, so don't know when he'll be back. But Psycho, who I've seen on was on Choco Pro a few times, took it became his replacement, and then of course his partners are none other than Yuri, who is the future Gambara Yoshi ace, and of course Yuna Manase. And don't forget, guys, Yuna Manase and Unagi, they were a student and teacher back in the early days. Now, if those who don't remember, I mentioned this not only on the episodes but also on Unagi Sayaka Watch. Yuna Manase and Unagi are teacher and student. So Yuna Manase was responsible for training her when when she started out in Tokyo Pro Wrestling, and Yuna Manase was in fact the trainer at the promotion. But it was interesting, and those who don't know, there were moments, again, Unagi had the tendency to bite off the chest of Yuna Manase. Don't ask me why she does it, but she's a bit of a savage, you know? But unfortunately, as you probably would have loved Unagi to pick up the win, it wasn't her. It was Yuri who picked up the win when she applied the Swanton Bomb onto Arukaze. However, once the match was over and she won for her team, she look at Unagi. Now, some of you may question why she's looking at her for. I want to also make this clear, as of right now, Unagi is no longer the DDT Ironman Heavy Metalweight Championship. She lost it to Shanjiro Tagagi twice, but of course he lost it to someone else, and so on and so on. I'm not gonna get to that, but I haven't been keeping up with her for a while. Apparently, Yuri has her sights set on one of Unagi's titles. Now, I would have presumed, because I reported this already, that she would have probably wanted the GTO Girls Championship, because originally Yuri came from that promotion, from Just Tap Out, the same as, of course, Tomoka Inaba and a few others. But that wasn't the case. She wanted the Kitsune World Championship. Now, those who don't know, that title is from the promotion here in the United States. Normally, they'll have their shows in LA. Now, why would Yuri want this belt? Simple. She wants to be the one to expand Ganbare globally. It would make sense. But Unagi, she doesn't think she has what it takes to go globally like she did. I mean, you look at Unagi, she took a bet on herself after we all found out the truth that she was fired from Stardom. But she has done very well for herself. I mean, appearing uh, in West Coast Pro, um, GCW, um, what else? Other promotion. Oh yeah, and of course, Sukeban and a few other promotions here in the States, and also international like RWC Spain. Those are one of those things that, of course, we can talk about. But yeah, so she accepts her challenge, but she doesn't believe that she has what it takes to expand it globally. But we'll see what happens here. Now, before we continue with our last two matches, we did have a surprise appearance from Moika Aruhi, who's been gone for almost a year. Now, those who don't know her very well, she was also a Yoshi wrestler who made appearances in Ganbare Pro. However, last year she had to take a hiatus due to she was donating her kidney to her sister. Many of us thought it was very awesome of her to do something like that and to help her sister. But of course, the recovery is going to be a long and extensive. Now, I noticed watching her, she lost a lot of weight. It's understandable due to what she did, but I did report it that she will be back in July. So it's great to see her again after 1 year. I'm sure many fans are dying to see her once again. However, they did announce after she made her announcement that she'll be making her return. They announced, of course, a wrestler who, in fact, I reported, who just who's going to make his debut in Ganbare Yoshi real soon. I mean Ganbare Pro real soon. That is Shota Kawakami. I later found out that this guy is a childhood friend of Manetatsu Nakamura, who is out of action. So I don't know if Nakamura convinced him to try it or invited him. Who knows? But it's great that someone from Nakamura's past, who he knows and grew up with, is here with him. So it's great. So I like it. Now, let's move on with our last two matches. Our semi-main event, we have tag action. We have Yumehiro Inamari teaming up with Tatsuhiko, no, Tatsuhiro Takaiwa, who was the first ever Spirit of Gambari World Openweight Champion. They take on Fuminori Abe and, of course, Gambari Pro's head honcho himself, Ken Oka. So you would think in your capacity just watching this match that Ken Oka, who is the boss, was going to win. However, that wasn't the case. Now, we have seen Imamari has grown significant, has become a much stronger competitor. He was the one who picked up the win by taking out the boss with a strong ass lariat, and just like that, it was over. This is a very disappointing loss for Oka because hell, this is his first loss under the new management, which is understandable. I mean, you don't want to make it a bad impression under the new management. So now our main event. This is the only championship match for now. We have the Spirit of Gambari World Openweight title. We have the challenger Keisuke Ishii taking on Chuichiro Katsumura. It was a pretty interesting match. Now, these two guys are fantastic. Now, Katsumura, I know he has some excellent striking and submission capability. You would think that would have been part of his arsenal to ensure he would retain the belt. Apparently, that wasn't it. It was Ishii who picked up the win by applying one of his strongest moves, the locomotive high angle double arm DDT. So that put him away, and now he is, of course, the new Spirit of Gambari World Openweight Champion, and now he has to lead the entire promotion. I'm sure we're gonna have some interesting challengers along the way. However, Katsumoto also is the spirit of Ganbare World Tag Team Champions with Takuya Owada. However, Wada lost his match, so I don't know how that is. But sooner or later, someone will challenge him. Challenge those. Well, Tominagi will challenge them for their tag titles, but he doesn't have a partner, so we'll see what happens until then. So I think that's pretty much it right now with Ganbare. Let's move on with NXT. Okay, week 2, NXT Spring Breakin. As you know, a week before, we have a brand new NXT champion, and that is Trick Williams. Whoop that trick! Whoop that trick! That's right, folks. He is our brand new NXT champion. Now, as you know, as of now, both Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov have been drafted. I think Dragunov he has headed to Raw, and Hayes to SmackDown. But Trick Williams thanked Dragunov, you know, not only because he beat him, but more like showing him that he can be a better person, a much stronger wrestler, and he feels like you have done a great job, being a strong champion in NXT, and now he has to carry that torch with him. Now, of course, out of nowhere, we see during his promo, Lash Legend showed up. Now, it seems like things were gonna get a little hot in there, you know what I mean? Even though I got the air conditioner on. But anyway, uh, she said something that got to Trick Williams' head, like stomp, like something about him that got that he's been getting the question. But here's the way I see it. Now that Trick Williams is the new NXT champion, Noam Dar now has a new target, and that target is, of course, the NXT title. So that's going to be something we're going to see. But however, we did see later on that he is now invited to the Supernova sessions. Now, whatever something scheming by Dar, I'm sure Trick Williams is going to try to deal with it as possible. But we'll see. Now, once again, the development of Gigi Dolan transforming into a lady continues. So basically, Ariana is teaching her about mannerism while going out to eat. So I don't know what that's about, but we'll see. Now, our first match and and I think this is our only, no, it's our one of two title matches. We have the NXT North American title. We have Ivar versus Obafemi. Now, Obafemi, as you know, has been a fighting champion. He has defended this belt proudly. So you would think that this is going to be a much tougher match for Obafemi taking on Ivar. However, Obafemi somehow was able to apply the pop-up power bomb, and just like that, it was over. Now, as soon as we celebrated the win of Obafemi, the ghost of Christmas past, or should I say NXT past, has returned. Wes Lee is back. That's right. As you know, he had to relinquish the belt due to the fact that he got injured. He had to make the right choice to be healthy. And now that he's back, he's coming for the belt. However, we did see, of course, Josh Briggs in the back talking to Ivar about that he would not have lost to Obafemi. And then, of course, Lee was the one who said, hey, you guys lost to him. I'm going to take him on. But however, Josh Briggs doesn't think that Wesley has any right to. But of course, Ivar, he's like in the middle here in this. But he did say to of course, to Wes that he's not done yet. And of course, I'm sure Wes knows that perfectly clear. Now, our next match, we see Thea Hale along with Chase U and Fallon Henley making their way to take on Jay-Z Jane. Now, as you know, Thea Hale and Jay-Z Jane were supposed to have been friends, but apparently Jay-Z didn't look at her as friends. But of course, Jay-Z Jane was not alone. She had Jasmine Nix to be right there with her. You would think the Hale will have lost the match against Jay-Z, but nope. Somehow she was able to pick up the win by applying the Kimura lock, losing the match. And of course, Jay-Z and Jane, I think, is in disbelief that she can't believe she lost to someone who she thought was stupid and dumb with it. But no, I look at Thea Hill as an energetic wrestler who's always pumped. You know, she knows when she loses, it hurts her so much. And of course, Professor Chase, is always by her side, believing in her, knowing that she could do anything. But however, as soon as the match was over, for some odd reason, Fallon Henley attacked her for that. Fallon Henley didn't say said earlier she didn't want to be by her side at the moment, but turns out she probably had enough of shenanigans. Even Kalani Jordan questioned her about that, and seems. But of course, we did see Dale saddened about why is this happening to her when she's becoming friends with girls like Fallon Henley and all that. I'm sure Chase U will think of something, because I'm sure she needs. I mean, look, you look at the dudes in Chase U. You look at Chase Owens, Duke Hudson, and of course they are dudes. They're getting along great. But what about Thea Hill? She needs to have some girl power by her side, you know. But we'll see. Now, our next match we have the Good Brothers. They take on, of course, the debut of Tariq Igwe and Tyson DuPont. Now, of course, DuPont and Igwe are a team that should be paying attention due to the fact that they could aim for the NXT Tag Team titles. However, the Good Brothers are determined to stop people like them in their tracks. That's the whole point of that. But you look at this match, you can tell that DuPont and Igwe probably had no chance in hell against the Good Brothers, who have been a cohesive tag team for years. But it was the Magic Killer by Igwe they gave, of course, the Good Brothers the win, but it was Gallows who pinned him. Now, we did see our general manager, Ava. As you know, she announced not too long ago about a brand new women's championship, the NXT Women's North American Championship. This is something that I think many of us are kind of curious about. However, she did announce that the winner will win in a ladder match in the finals, which is something that happened with the men's North American title. So it looks like they want to bring that tradition back, which is okay. Let's see how that rolls. However, Jada Parker, who comes out, is like full on confident, believing she will walk out. And then we have Soruka, and then of course Ariana Grace, and then someone we haven't seen who in NXT for a long time, Michi, or as we know her, Mia Yim, showed up. Ariana Grace is telling her that she disqualifies because she's not in it. But she punched her, and it became an all-woman brawl in there. Ariana Grace is like telling people, stop! I'm like, this is how the world works. This is not, how do I say, sunshines and rainbows in NXT. She's trying to turn that whole thing around like that, but I don't think anybody wants that. But we'll see. Now, ahead of their title match, of course, we see Frazier and Axiom preparing for themselves. And of course, they were visited by former tag team champions of the NXT, Street Profits. Now, as you know, they had a deal with OAP. So they kind of give them their words of advice. And of course, he played them very well. Don't slow down. So basically, they know they're fast and they have the heart to take on AOP. So they're giving them their support, knowing they don't want to see AOP win these titles, but we'll see about that. Now, we do see a very interesting match. Shawn Spears versus Ridge Holland. Now, for a while now, we have seen Shawn Spears has been saying that Ridge Holland, who's now turning a new leaf, he thinks he's lying to himself. He thinks that you're full of it. Don't play around with people. Ridge Holland even didn't fall for what he was saying to him. But he tells him, do you think you know me? And I think that's the question I think that Vic Joseph said to Booker T. Shawn Spears thinks that he knows him, but the reality is, does he? I think that's a very good, honest question. we don't know exactly if he does know him. We know he can get to his head, but does he know him exactly what goes on in him? I don't know. We know that Rich Holland had to deal with his own personal demons, but he was able to try to overcome it as possible. Now, you would think that Sean Spears would pick up the win by getting into his head. Nope, it did not do any well for him because Rich Holland walked away with a win, applying the DDT onto him, and just like that. But we did see, of course, Rich Holland um, later on talk to Chase Owens. It seems like they're helping each other out. Like Professor Chase had his own demons, so is Rich Holland. I have to say, I wouldn't be surprised if Rich Holland joins JCU. That would be interesting to see. Now, once again, Roxanne Perez throws out a temper tantrum. Now, her initial plan is that hopefully she gets be drafted and takes the NXT Women's title where she goes. However, that didn't seem according to plan. Now, I'm gonna skip ahead on this one because it ended with the show with that, even though we're not done yet. Um, Apparently, of course, Ava had to tell her that the reason she didn't get drafted is because champions do not get drafted. And I think for Roxanne, she thinks it's unfair that she should have been already going to the to the main roster, but unfortunately, it wasn't gonna happen. But she did tell her that she will be in a match next week against Chelsea Green, and Roxanne Perez is not happy with the whole thing. Well, I mean, look, she's been bitching, complaining, and mowing. So I think Ava Raines decided, you know what? Since you like to bitch, I'm gonna make sure you bitch some more. So, so I think that's the whole point of the whole story. Now, now let's jump into our our tag team title match. We have AOP versus Frazier and Axiom. Now, you ask yourselves, this is a tag team between Davids and Goliaths. So we have two Davids and two Goliaths. Can they overcome it? You would think the only thing they have is their speed. They don't want to get caught by them. But the one thing, the X factor of this match is, of course, the other members of the Final Testament. We're talking about Karrion Kross, Scarlett, and of course, Paul Ellering. However, because they were caught with the hands in a cookie jar, it was distracted. But luckily, a group of guys who also had their beef towards AOP showed up, and that is, of course, New Catch Republic. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne took matters in their own hands and allowed for Nathan Frazier and Axiom to pick up the win. And I think right now AOP are not happy campers with this result. Now, as you know, recently we did see Edris Enofe broke a mirror, and it's 7 years of bad luck. You would think that there's something wrong, like he thinks that something bad is about to happen. Well, another, of course, Brinley Reese's trying to get them get their high spirits. She brought a couple of black cats. Now, those who are very superstitious, you know how some people say that black cats are bad luck, but I don't know. We'll see. Now, our main event features, of course, the NXT Underground. We have Lola Vice versus Natalia. Now, Lola Vice, who feels that she is the top of the game, and of course, Natalia, who people call her the boat, got into this match under, of course, Natalia said she wants to step into her world. Now, Natalia has Carmen Petrovic by her side, and Lola Vice, Shayna Baszler, someone who, of course, Natalia knows all too well. So that kind of played out very well as well. But of course, Baszler was getting involved in this matchup. Now, this match could have won by Natalia, but Shayna Baszler was choking out Carmen Petrovic. Natalia couldn't stand it, so she had to make a choice. So she chose to save Carmen, and of course, Lola Vice knocked her out with the K in a match won by a KO. But there was an exclusive interview that showed later that Natalia is not done with Lola Vice, not by a long shot. So basically, Lola can say she's done, but no, there's going to be reckoning soon enough. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for NXT in all reviews. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin with updates for the upcoming events from the promotions themselves. Now we got a much bigger one with GCW because I don't know how many fans I have, many subscribers who are big GCW fans. Well, let's begin. Now, as you know, for May 3rd, the Rather You Than Me event in Tampa, they announced that Alex Zane will be in action to take on Micro Man. Yep, that's gonna be a very interesting match to watch. And then, of course, on Cinco de Mayo, we have, of course, the World on Lucha by Gringo Loco's self-produced show. The GCW World Title will be defended. Blake Christian takes on Laredo Kid, so that's gonna be one fun match to enjoy. And then, of course, we have the Philly event on the 18th of May. Most Notorious. They announced a group called the Legion of Rot will be there. I never heard of them, but I just put it out there for all you guys if you guys are interested. And then, of course, on the 26th in Columbus, Ohio, for Paranoid, they announced that Joey Janela, the bad boy, takes on Kevin Blackwood. Then, of course, names have been mentioned for the upcoming event on June 14th in Denver, Colorado. We do have Zilla Fatu, Jordan Oliver, Man Like the Reese, and Gringo Loco. Now, this is for the Lights Out show that will happen on June 14th. Now, and then, of course, on the following day in LA for the Hit 'em show, they announced Viva Van will be appearing. And, of course, another name has been mentioned for a later show on the 14th, on the 16th. I can't feel my face. This one is from Brittany something. This girl who I've seen already. I forgot to put down her last name. But anyway, yes. Um, but as you know, two shows have been announced for near the end of June in Houston and Dallas in the Texas area. The first one is on the 28th of June called No Sleep, and on the 29th, Crime Wave. That's the name. So yes, those are the what's going on with GCW. Let's talk about the other ones as well that they announced. Um, Stardom has announced for cards for this coming weekend. Let me pull that up on my phone. I didn't get a chance to put. Well, I don't put it on my phone because it's too much. I have to do a lot of writing. Um, we do have. Let's see. We have some interesting matches. Okay, for the Saturday event, this is what we have. We have Sayuri Inui versus Yuna Mizumori, a very interesting Cosmic Angel showdown. Next match, we have Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, and Starlight Kid. They team up to take on Oedo Tai's Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Tekla. Then, of course, we have stars consistent of Azuki, Koguma, and Saida taking on, of course, the tag team Crazy Star, Suzuki, and Meisida, and they team up with Cosmic Angel rookie Sayaka Kurata. Then, of course, we have EXV consistent of Maika, Mina, Waka, and Xena. They take on Azumi, um, no, Sayaka Mitani, Azumi, Lady C, and Miyu Amasaki. Then we have, of course, another match featuring the stars consistent of Mayu Itani, Hanan, and Momokogo taking on Godzai, consistent of Konami, Amisuri, and Rana Yagami. Then we have a three-way match featuring Kashima, Hanako, and Rian. And then finally we have Shuri versus Aya Sakura. Now, this one is a very interesting one. Aya Sakura hasn't faced Shuri for a while before she was injured, so that's going to be interesting. And then, of course, this Sunday, we do have two title matches taking place. The Goddesses, we have Crazy Star, Zuzu, and May. They defend their belts against FWC, Zuki, and Koguma. And then, of course, we have the Artist Championship, the Artist belts defendant. Mina, Maika, and Xena take on Star members Mayu Iwatani, Hanan, and Koguma. Then we have a very interesting another trios match. Sayuri teams up with Starlight Kid and Tam. They take on Oedo Tai's Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Tekla. Then, of course, we have another tag match. We have Saya Kamitani and Lady C teaming up, taking on Ami Sori and Saki Kashima. Then we have Azumi and Miyu Amasaki. They take on Natsupoi and Saya Kurata. Then we have Konami versus Yuna Mizumori versus Hanako. And then, of course, we have Waka Tsukiyama versus Aya Sakura. That's going to be an interesting match. Now, if you're probably asking me, why is that simple? Aya Sakura used to call her annoying. Yeah, Sakura called Waka annoying. So, I wouldn't be surprised if she asked her why did she join Cosmic Angels. Now, I'm not sure if this event is there's an event for the Yamaguchi happening. I think I'm not sure if this is the Friday event. They did announce for this is Mayu Iwatani's triumphant return, in case anybody asked. But they did announce the streamers will be allowed back for Mayu's entrance. Now, here's the full card for that. We have Mayu, Starlight Kid, and Tam Nakano. They take on Maika, Mina, and Hanako. So that's gonna be an interesting matchup. I think this is gonna be an interesting where Mayu may want Starlight Kid to join, but their does are saying that Starlight Kid is probably better off with Cosmic Angels, and I may explain a little bit about that maybe at another time. Then we have, of course, a number one contendership for the Wonder of Stardom, um, Amisuri and Natsupoi. So that's going to be an interesting choice. Then we have Saya Kamitani, Azumi, and Lady C taking on Sayori Inoi, Yuna Mizumori, and Aya Sakura. They, and then of course there's Odo Tai consisting of Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Tekla. Then we have Crazy Star consistent of Zuzu and Mei teaming up with Miyu Amasaki. They take on star members Azuki, Koguma, and Momokogo. And then we have Shuri, Konami, and Saki Kashima taking on Xena and Waka of EXV along with Rookie Rian. And then, of course, we have Saya Ida versus Sayaka Kurara. And then we have Hanan versus Rana Yagami. So that's pretty much what happened. That's the card for, of course, for Stardom for this weekend. Now, Prestige Wrestling has announced for the Alive or Just Breathing show on the 16th of May. We have Jada Stevens takes on Vert Vixen. Now, originally we were supposed to have, forgot who it was, but it did not, things had to change on this one. Progress Wrestling has announced for the Super Strong Style 16 event that will happen on the 26th and 27th of May. French wrestler Agle Blanc will be making his appearance. And then finally, Kitsune Women's Wrestling for their upcoming Sugo event on July 14th. They announced Billy Starks, Jin Deviatme, hopefully. And then there's J-Rod, then Marina Shafir, and Ellen something. So, but yeah, so 6 names have been mentioned. So that's pretty much what we have for our promotions now. I think right now I decided to leave things like this because there's too much information I haven't catched up. I was falling asleep. So I'll catch up onto a separate news updates for all of you, and we'll go from there. Because majority of it is the MARIGOLD. Oh yeah, I can do the MARIGOLD now. I can do that now. If you guys know this, recently there has been interesting developments going on. There was a press conference that took over. They just announced that the 6 at-risk girls who initially left at-risk girls are now a full-blown members of the roster, and of course they got their own jerseys and all that. Hold on, let me pull up something. Yes, here it is. So yes, so Chika, Koiki, Natsumi, Maika Uno, Misa Matsui, and Chika Goto are all now full-blown members of the MARIGOLD roster. But here's the interesting part. As you know, each wrestler will be having their own uniform numbers, but each of them will be numbered. Now, here's the numbers for this one. Victoria Yuzuki has number 1. Utami Ayashida has number 3. Nanane Takahashi has number 7. Mai Sakurai number 8. Koiki Amari number 9. Julia number 10. Fuka number 11, Mirai number 17, Natsumi has number 23, Misa 33, Miku number 39, Chika number 51, and now Ishikawa number 70, and Chiaki 89. Now there are other numbers for other wrestlers and staff. Zaya Steele, who will be making her debut soon, is number 13. Hikari Ohari, who's the ring announcer, will be number 23. Mila Grace, number 24. Bozilla 31. Rasi Ogawa 64. And then, of course, Hachiro Suzuki, who is the board of directors. Now, they also mention that number 18, which is considered as the ace number, will remain vacant. They did announce that tryouts for new recruits will happen in June. Recently, Rossi has met up with At-Risk Girls rep Sakaguchi to talk things over. I'm sure that after what happened with that situation with At-Risk Girls, the Sakaguchi was not a happy camper, and I'm sure Rossi Ogawa was trying to reason with them, but I don't know if it would be enough. There's going to be a lot of interesting freelance wrestlers to take part in the promotion. That's what they were saying. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that are happening. But there's something else more interesting. We do know that the first ever Wonder of Stardom champion, Yuzuki Aikawa, if you guys remember her, she's the one who does those kicks, has been announced that she'll be commentating in the first MARIGOLD show on May 20th. So if you guys ever seen her, you should check her out. Fuka even was announced that she is now the assistant producer of MARIGOLD. So that's a pretty good job. Now, reason is that according to her, the reason she was named is because I had 40 girls debuted. In At-Risk Girls, I had produced 38 girls, and I think that's the reason why. Now, I think that's pretty much it with MARIGOLD. I mean, there's too much time that I'm taking on that, but at the moment, I'll put a separate news updates on something else. But from then on, we'll see what happens. I'm really tired, guys. I'm like, I had normal thought, but right now, let's just call it a day. Hey, yeah. So, hope everybody enjoys this episode. I'm sorry, but I'm really tired, guys. I had a regular day job earlier, and I'm like completely worn out. But I was happy that I was able to do this for all of you guys. The review NXT Spring Breakin and add in Ganbare Pro. But yes, for our next episode, as you know, we have AEW Dynamite. I'm not sure how things will go for the next episode due to the fact that an errand has popped up, but we'll see how that goes from here on out, because right now I don't want to be behind, because the following day I will be in fact doing my regular day job. I will also be worn out as well, but we'll see how things will progress from here on out. But at the right now, this is the plan, and this is what I'm planning to do, but we will see until then. But as a moment, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.